Since the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway was put into operation in Indonesia, a total of 10,500 passenger trains have been launched, and the passenger volume has exceeded 4 million. This high-speed railway not only brings great convenience to local transportation, but also makes Indonesia gradually realize the potential economic benefits behind it. For this reason, less than a year after the operation of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway, Indonesia can't hold back and began to plan the next expansion plan. In November 2023, the Indonesian government announced a grand plan to extend the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway. According to this plan, Indonesia will continue to cooperate with China with an estimated investment of $28 billion and plans to extend the existing high-speed railway from Jakarta all the way to Surabaya. The total length of this new line is expected to reach 730 kilometers, which is 5 times the length of the original line. Surprisingly, Japan, which was full of interest in this expansion project as early as 2019, suddenly announced its withdrawal from the bidding this year. This can't help but make people wonder, why did Japan abandon this $28 billion project? And can the extension project of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway be smoothly promoted? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. First, let's talk about Indonesia. Indonesia's transportation infrastructure is a relatively backward country, which is the biggest obstacle to its economic development. In recent years, although Indonesia has tried to develop public transportation systems such as rapid buses, minibuses, and subways, due to the incomplete supporting facilities and high construction costs, the people's travel problems have not been effectively solved. At the same time, the number of private cars continues to increase, causing traffic congestion in the capital Jakarta to become more and more serious. According to statistics, the economic losses caused by traffic congestion exceed $4.2 billion each year. As the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta has an area of only 661 square kilometers, but it is home to tens of millions of residents. The population density is very high, and traffic congestion has become one of the main problems of this city. For example, from the cities around Jakarta to the city center, although the straight line distance is only about 40 kilometers, due to severe traffic congestion, commuting usually takes 3 to 4 hours to reach, which is quite a headache. In order to alleviate the serious traffic congestion, Indonesia decided to launch the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway project in 2014. According to the plan, the total length of this high-speed railway is about 142 kilometers, with a design speed of 350 kilometers per hour, and the actual operating speed is expected to remain at around 300 kilometers per hour. The line starts from the capital Jakarta, passes through Bekasi City, Karawang County, Purwakarta County, West Bandung County, and Sima Market, and finally reaches Bandung, the 4th largest city in Indonesia. Once the high-speed railway is put into operation, the travel time from Jakarta to Bandung will be greatly shortened from the current 3 to 4 hours to only 40 minutes. After fierce competition, the Chinese railway team finally stood out and successfully signed the China-Indonesia Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway Cooperation Agreement with a contract amount of $5.5 billion. In June 2018, the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway officially started construction. After 5 years of construction, the Indonesian president announced at the Halim High-Speed Railway Station in Jakarta that the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway was officially put into operation. This is not only the first high-speed railway in Indonesia, but also the first high-speed railway in the entire Southeast Asia region. According to data from the Indonesian Railway Bureau, the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway has transported a total of 1.45 million passengers in the first 100 days since its opening. With the continuous growth of demand, the daily train frequency of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway has also increased from the initial 14 trains to 52 trains during peak hours, and the number of passenger seats has increased from more than 7,000 to more than 8,000. As of September this year, The Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway has transported more than 4 million passengers. The safe mileage of EMU trains has exceeded 126,000 kilometers, and the highest daily occupancy rate has reached 99.6%. It is worth noting that in view of the great success of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail project, Indonesia soon submitted a new application to China, planning to extend the high-speed rail line 5 times and extend the terminus to Surabaya, Indonesia's second-largest city. If this new line is built, the original 10-hour journey will be greatly shortened to only 3.5 hours. But interestingly, the expansion plan of this high-speed rail was originally chosen to be built by Japan. So, why did Indonesia suddenly turn to China for cooperation now? In fact, when China and Indonesia first cooperated to build the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail, the domestic reaction in Indonesia was not positive. Many people have prejudices against China's infrastructure construction, believing that China is still a country with backward infrastructure, and even if a high-speed rail can be built, there are great safety risks. Faced with these public pressures, the Indonesian government had to consider handing over the subsequent expansion project of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail to Japan. By 2019, Indonesia had almost reached a cooperation agreement with Japan and decided to extend the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail from Bandung to Surabaya. The planned extension line is about 720 kilometers long, with a design speed of 160 kilometers per hour and an investment budget of more than 28 billion. It was originally planned to start construction in 2020. However, the project has not been launched due to some accidents. As far as I know, the main reason is that the two sides have major differences in the financing model. Japan requires the Indonesian government to provide guarantees and subsidies, while the Indonesian government hopes that the project can be self-financing. So the negotiations are deadlocked, and the two sides have been unable to reach an agreement on the extension of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway. In addition to the funding problem, there is also a saying that Japan has doubts about the prospects of the project. Previously, Vietnam planned to invest $55.9 billion to build a high-speed railway line running through the north and south using Japan's most advanced Shinkansen technology. Since then, Vietnam and Japan have held many discussions and consultations on this. However, by 2024, the project still has no substantial progress. Japan's Shinkansen technology is mainly suitable for plain areas and has been in operation for many years. The engineering team is gradually aging, and the new generation of technicians has not been fully supplemented, which to some extent affects their project promotion efficiency. What's more, Vietnam is mostly hilly and mountainous, and Japanese technology has not been fully verified in such complex terrain. Indonesia's terrain is equally complex, even no less complex than Vietnam, which undoubtedly aggravates Japan's concerns about expanding high-speed rail in Indonesia. If the Indonesian project also reaches a deadlock, it may further damage the reputation of Japan's high-speed rail technology. In view of these factors, the Japanese railway team took the initiative to withdraw from the bidding for the extension of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway in 2020. It is worth noting that although the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway was controversial in its early days, as the high-speed railway was successfully opened and brought a series of significant economic and social benefits to Indonesia, the negative evaluation of China has gradually disappeared. Since the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway has been in operation for less than a month, Indonesia has begun actively planning a new round of high-speed railway expansion projects, with an estimated investment of up to $28 billion and hopes to continue to cooperate with China. Indonesia expressed that if the new line continues to cooperate with China, it hopes to follow the financing model of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway. China Development Bank will provide 75% of the loan, and the remaining part will be provided by the Indonesian and Chinese PT-KCSE consortium at a ratio of 60% to 40% share. However, China has not made a clear response to this expansion plan. So, does China have any concerns about this? In fact, Surabaya city is located in the East Java province of Indonesia and is one of the largest seaport cities in Indonesia. Many imported goods enter Indonesia through here. Surabaya city covers an area of approximately 326 square kilometers and has a population of approximately 2.7 million. If Jakarta and Surabaya can be connected, Indonesia will build a high-speed transportation network that runs through major cities in Java, which will undoubtedly bring a huge impetus to Indonesia's economic growth and regional integration. However, the expansion project faces many challenges. The straight-line distance between Surabaya and Bandung is more than 560 kilometers. According to the plan of Indonesian engineers, the total length of the high-speed rail from Jakarta to Surabaya is expected to be about 730 kilometers, which is almost 5 times the length of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail. In addition, Java Island is located at the junction of the Eurasian Plate and the Indian Ocean Plate. It is an area with frequent earthquakes and volcanic activities. The terrain is complex and changeable, so it is not an ideal location for high-speed rail construction. Therefore, Indonesia hopes to build this extension line at the same price as the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway, which is quite difficult in practice. Although the first section of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway has been successfully completed with high quality, the entire project took 5 years and encountered many difficulties in the process. This also shows that China did face many challenges in building this railway. Although the total length is only 142 kilometers, there are 26 key and difficult projects along the way, especially the construction difficulty of Tunnel Number 2 is very typical. In 2021, when engineers were reinforcing the risk points of the tunnel, an accident occurred. The mud flow suddenly penetrated the tunnel wall, and the mud flow sprayed was more than 70 meters long. The workers on the scene had to evacuate quickly. The situation on the scene was like an emergency 100-meter sprint. Any hesitation could lead to danger. In addition to the difficulty of construction, the cost issue has also become a controversial point in the project. Although Indonesia has affirmed the high-speed rail technology made in China, they feel that the construction cost of the project exceeded expectations and exceeded more than $1 billion. Therefore, Indonesia did not fully execute the contract when paying the project fee. At present, Indonesia hopes to continue to cooperate with China at a relatively low price to extend the high-speed rail line, but from China's perspective, this does not seem very realistic. In addition, the loan pressure for the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway still exists, and Indonesia's eagerness to expand the railway seems a bit aggressive, which may bring the risk of the project being abandoned. So the question is, will China agree to continue to help Indonesia expand the railway in the future?